Sean, we'll start with some reflections on the weekend. It felt, going to Salford and getting the result that you got, quite significant to get to double figures points after 5 games, and perhaps to put the performance in that you did as a group of players. How significant did that feel from a player's perspective?
Yeah, I think it was a big one. I feel like we needed a good away performance. I know the gaffer mentioned it, and he mentioned it to us as well, that last season we didn't really perform away, and the Gillingham game we didn't really perform, but I feel like Salford will be up there at the end of the season as well, so it was important that we got a good win away from home at a good side.
How sort of self-analytical are the players from last season that have stayed here this season? How aware are you of not just the relegation, I guess, but those sort of details from last season that you want to try and change?
Speaking personally, I am. It's the first time I've been relegated as a player, and it wasn't a nice feeling at all. And if I'm being honest, I want us to get promoted this season so we can get back to where I believe that we should still be now.
There's obviously that sense of determination. I think everybody said it that was involved in last season coming into this season. How does that actually manifest itself? What do you do differently? What does James Keneally do differently? What did Shaun McConville do differently this season to last season to try and put it right?
I would say that, again, myself, I've tried to take on a bit more responsibility, as in helping the other lads out, whereas last season it was a bit more, I'd only just come, so I was getting used to the club again and the management again and the different players, but I obviously know a lot of them now and know what helps them and what doesn't help them, and I just think I'm just trying to take a lot more responsibility this season, whereas last season it was more about myself and trying to play well.
On your game, I think last season we saw perhaps your versatility and your experience, and you'd pop up in central midfield or up front or a little bit out wide where we've seen you many times before. Do you feel like this season, particularly losing Shaun McConville for a period, there's more of a set role for you in this team?
Yeah, I think there is, Dan, but I can play in different positions, and I would never make excuses for if I haven't played as well in other positions, because I do feel like I can play most positions. I could play right back, I could play wing back, wing, central midfield. I played a lot there for Shrewsbury towards the end of my time there. I played up front a lot, so I played number 10. Like I can play in them positions, and I think it's unfair if I make excuses for not playing as well at times, because I'm playing in a different position, because I feel like I should be able to play wherever anyway.
I know we talked after the opening home game where you came on and made an impact. How satisfying is it? Maybe it's even more satisfying when you get to this stage of your career, when you're actually in the team, starting, making a difference week in, week out.
Yeah, no, it isn't, and that's what everyone wants at the end of the day. But I've said to some of the lads who haven't been starting this season at times, it so much more now. It is a squad game, and the subs get used. And I've read somewhere that there's a stigma of being a sub, but there shouldn't be really. You're still part of the squad, of the team. You've got an important role to play, whether that be if you get on, if you don't get on. You have to be supportive of the other lads, and I think as I'm getting older, I'm more realising the fact that if you are named, I don't really like calling it a sub, but that's the only word we've got, isn't it? So if you are named sub, you still have an important role to play, and you have to push the other lads in training if you're not in the starting team. So it is nice to be starting, but if I don't for whatever reason, then it won't change my mindset, as in I'm going to be supportive of the lads and want us to win.
I'm really interested in that. Do you think the fact that 5 changes are now allowed, make it, I mean, you can change half your outfield players. Do you think that role is going to be more and more significant? Maybe even we'll see players who play a specific role where they play half an hour in a game.
Yeah, and I think there is players probably like that now. I wouldn't say that so much here, but I just mean in football in general, there probably is players who managers look at and think, I can use him for 20 minutes at the end of a game and he'll come on and make a difference. But yeah, I think with the 5 subs, yeah, I think that has a big impact as well now. I think you can use fresh legs from the bench. Players get tired a lot more in games. It's quite intense, the games that we play. I know the gaffer's mentioned before about he hardly made a change to the starting 11, but nowadays I just don't think you can do that, and you've seen with the gaffers substitutions how much impact they do have and the energy that they bring the team and stuff like that. So yeah, I think, like I said, it is an important role still, being on the bench.
And I suppose other sports, they wholesale change personnels. They have different setups, different tactics, using different personnel for different situations. We're obviously not going to see 11 subs and every player changing, but is there more of that in football now? More where 16, 17, 18, 20 players all have to know the role rather than 11 that start?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's getting more like that. I just think, like I said, in training, the ones who aren't starting, they need to push the lads in training, but then they need to be aware of what roles they're going to have if they come on and stuff like that. So yeah, I just think if you're more part of a squad now, if that makes sense. It's not like it used to be 10 years ago where you were either starting or you were subbing, you weren't happy, and you'd be sulking on the bench. But there can't be any of that anymore, I don't think.